Welcome in, college football fans. It's that time again. It is the eve of college football Saturday and Friday, I guess I should say, is when all the games start. It's the eve of college football weekend, week 12. It's between the lines. This is First and Long's college football betting show. Okay. We've already broke all the games down earlier this week. You can go check that out. We've got a playlist that's labeled weekly game predictions. You can go check out any of those game predictions. We broke down 5 of the key matchups. That's not what we're doing here today. This is a betting show. We are trying to give you our best bets, what we feel most confident about getting to the window and betting this weekend. So it may not be a key matchup. We will glance, kind of go over those quickly. Not long takes here. We're going to try to keep this thing about 30 minutes. That's what we like to do on this show. And if you're new to the show, thank you so much for watching. We are so glad that you're here. This is a college football community that we are creating here, and we want you to be a part of it. So to be a part of it and to be able to comment on the video today, you need to subscribe. So hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on the video, help you boys out, okay? We're over here working. Just give us a little tip. That's all it takes right there. It costs no money. Cheapest thing you'll ever get is free, and that's what this show is right here. Mason, how you doing today, buddy? Are you ready to lock up some bets?
I'm ready to lock it up. We only got 2 more weeks here. I'm struggling to get back to 500, man. I've been I've been treading water the past couple of weeks. Started off the year strong, and then I hit a big old sinkhole, and I've been trying to get out of it ever since. And there's just not enough weeks for me to do it, I'm afraid, unless I can go plus 16 over the next couple of weeks. So,
You
but
never know.
we've had a couple of good weeks here, and I'm ready to keep it going.
Yeah, I actually meant to look up my record. I know I'm over 500 right now, but I think I'm just kind of maybe 5 units over, something like that. So anything over 500 is a return on investment whenever you're talking about college football betting. So that's good stuff, and I'll take it. I was kind of the opposite. I had a rough start to the year, and I've kind of trended in the right direction as we've moved on. So we hope all of you have had the best of luck betting. So let's jump into it. I want to kind of just glance over some of the big matchups of the week and see if you've got any plays for them, because I know I do. Georgia at Tennessee. Do you have a play on this game? I believe the line is minus 10.5 and the over-under set at 59.
Yeah, I like both of those. So I've got Georgia at minus 10, and I've got also the over in that game. I like to double dip on these dogs here lately. I think that.
Well, that was my saving grace last week because I triple dipped on the Ole Miss game and hit on all 3, and that was my saving grace last week.
Yeah, the only one I wasn't with you on was the over on the entire game, just because I didn't know how the weather would look, and that one definitely hit. Georgia about covered that on their own, but yeah, I like Georgia a lot this week. I think that the way that I see this game playing out is Georgia, allows Tennessee to score on that first drive. They've been doing it all year. I don't know what the deal is, but Georgia likes to see what you got that first drive. I don't know what the deal is. Kirby even said it in his press conference. We pretty much know that our defense is going to give up a score that first drive, and then it's time to hunker down. That's a part of his pregame speech now. It's like, hey, they're going to get down there and score, and then we're going to turn it on. I don't know what his deal is with that, but it seems to be working. So you're going to see a pretty competitive first quarter. I'd actually, as like an alt line, maybe go like first quarter over if you could play something like that. Maybe like first quarter Tennessee, team total over, something like that. But anyway, so I think that the first quarter will be kind of close. Second quarter, you'll see Georgia pull away. They might be up by about 10 going into halftime. And then early in that second half, Georgia's just going to turn it on, and they'll be up, 17 or 21 points midway through that third quarter. And you're going to see a whole lot of quick come out of Tennessee. And they got nothing else to play for. They're just here to play upset at this point. So I think that the game kind of gets out of hand late. Georgia's going to be able to score pretty much at will, but Tennessee will have already gotten their points. They should. I think that they'll score about 13 or 17 points in that first half, and that's why I like the over as well. So give me Georgia -10, same game over 58.5.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to fight you on this one. I'm not fighting you on the spread though. I'm not touching the spread on this one. I told you once it got over 10 that I wasn't
Mm.
going to touch it, and I'm gonna show some restraint and stay away from that. I like the under 59, and here's what I'm thinking. We got one of two Tennessee teams that's going to show up this weekend. They're either going to play like it's the Super Bowl, or they're not going to give a shit. There's really 2 options, and I'm torn on which one it is, and that's why I'm staying away from the spread.
Mhm.
So, with that being said, in both of these scenarios, I can see the under hitting. If Georgia absolutely dominates this game and crams it down their throat, I think Georgia could win this thing, 42-7. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Um, or if Tennessee does come out and play like it's the Super Bowl, I could see them hanging tough and making it a little bit tough on Georgia. Tennessee has been a much better team at home. Very, very, very good at home. If Tennessee can get a lead in that first quarter, then that crowd will be into this thing, and maybe they'll feel like there's a ball game going on in Neyland. So I'm going to take the under 59. I feel like Vegas has had a chance to correct on Georgia's offense over the last couple of weeks, specifically against Old Miss, because they put up a 50 burger on them. So I think that we're going to see a little bit of course correction here, and maybe a little bit of come back to earth moment. So we'll see what happens there. And I like Tennessee's defense, other than their secondary. I don't like their secondary, but if they're playing, with some heart, I think that they can make it tough on Georgia. Let's keep it moving. Washington at Oregon State. Do you got to play on this game? Oregon State is currently a 2.5-point favorite.
Yeah, I like Washington in this game. I like Washington to win it outright. One of the models I looked at had them as a 5-point favorite in this game, and I'm just going to stick with that. I in my preview, I picked them to win the game. Speaking to some of you Washington fans online here, it seems like y'all are really bullish on obviously on the Huskies, but I think that some pretty good points were made that only a diehard fan of the Huskies would know, and so I'm going to
You're
take
talking
that to
about
the bank.
Lonnie.
I think it was Lonnie. Yeah. Yeah, Lonnie made some good points, and I'm the same way with my team with Georgia. If I feel pretty good about it, I'm going to give that information up, and
Yeah.
I've been pretty spot on. Other than the Missouri game, been pretty spot on with my Georgia bet. So I'm going to take that sort of insider information, and I'm going to put my money where Lonnie's mouth is.
Yeah. Well, I am going to fight you again, my friend. And we fought on this one on the preview show. Okay, we were on both opposite sides of this, and um, we're gonna both dig our heels in on each side of this thing and battle it out on Saturday. The line is moving in favor of Oregon State. 70% of the votes are, excuse me, 70% of the bets are coming in on Oregon State right now, and those are early in the week bets. Those are not your casual football fans. Okay. So you're going to see that number probably trend back towards Washington as Saturday approaches. So if you are going to get on Washington, I would go ahead and get on right now, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But here's what I like. I like Oregon State at home. They're and I meant to check. Can you check the weather in Corvallis on
Yeah,
your
I'll
phone
look it up.
real quick? I heard about some rain. I meant to check this before the show, and I apologize, but that's why we got 2 of us. That's why we have an advantage over a show with just one person. We can do that type stuff. I, I like this Oregon State team at home, 7-0 against the spread at home, with teams above 500 records over the last 3 years. Okay. Um, Washington has been flirting with disaster. That defense does not impress me. It just doesn't impress me. I expect Damian Martinez to have a very big game, and I expect DJU to hit some shots. This is going to be a close one. Both teams want this one really bad. Oregon State has got a chance to leave their mark on the college football playoff over the next 2 weeks. They've got Washington and Oregon at home to finish the year. Um, I've heard about some rain. If it rains, that's in favor of Oregon State. There's no doubt about that. Their style of play is run the football, play action.
It's
What's
going to
that weather
be
looking like?
so it's looking like mostly cloudy with showers by nighttime at 40 degrees. It's going to be cold and rainy.
Give
Yep.
me Oregon State. That makes me feel even better. I think they want it to be nasty as hell.
Yeah.
I think Oregon State wants it to be nasty as hell because those big uglies up front, they got one mission, man. It's going to be road grade this Washington defense and defensive line, and I think they'll be able to do it, man. So give me them Beavers. Let's move it on to another one of the big matchups. Louisville at Miami. This one has moved to a pick'em for the week.
Yeah.
Do you got a play on this one?
Man, I've got it at a pick'em. I have no idea. I'd like to say Miami with the home field advantage, but they don't have any damn home field advantage at Miami.
They ain't got no home field advantage.
Playing at the Hard Rock.
That game.
No.
You could probably get a ticket to this game if you go buy a hot dog at Sam's Club and they just hand you a ticket with your hot dog.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to this game. No advantage. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I feel like Miami is the better team and Louisville is the hotter team. So what are we going to see out of Miami? I have no idea. I really I would stay the heck away from this game. Both teams are pretty unpredictable. We saw Louisville beat Notre Dame, and then we saw them lose to Pitt. And Miami lost to freaking Georgia Tech, but they beat Clemson. So what team are we going to get? It's anybody's guess, in my opinion. Vegas is saying the same thing.
Yeah. Look, we talked about it in our game breakdown. You can, like I said, you can go check that out in our predictions playlist there. We broke that game down a couple days ago. Hey, and all of you that are watching, don't forget to like the video and comment your predictions for the game or your best bet. Let us know. Let's communicate. Let's learn and earn together. But anyway, this Miami defense is really stout. The thing that really popped out to me in the matchups when we went over it was Louisville is causing 1.8 turnovers per game. Miami is averaging giving up 2 turnovers per game. Then I see Van Dyke coming out and he's like talking. Did you hear about this in his press conference? He comes out and says, well, I'm not going to let football affect my happiness. Isn't that what you want to hear out of your quarterback? Let me go bet on Miami now, right?
Yeah.
Give me a break, man. Ain't nobody trying to hear your soap opera bull crap at your press conference, man.
Nobody wants you to be happy if you're losing. Like,
exactly.
This is life. You can't lose and be happy. That's not a thing.
Yeah.
This is college
football. To quote Pam Halpert, talking to Michael in the office, I could give a about your happiness. So, look, give me Louisville, okay? You give me 50-50 odds here. I really feel like I got a 50-50 chance of winning this bet. I'm going to roll the dice. Give me Louisville. But I have 2 plays on this game total. What I feel better about is the under 46.5. I don't think there's going to be a ton of points to go around in this game. These are 2 pretty good defenses, especially against the run. And then I don't trust Miami and Van Dyke to throw the ball successfully in this game.
Yeah. I could see Thrash getting going and Louisville putting up some points, but that's about the only way you're going to see that overhit.
Yeah. And
but Miami's got good safeties too, and
he's only got 4 touchdowns on the whole year.
Right.
I mean, it's not like he's got 10 or 12 touchdowns this year. I mean, for him to score 2 touchdowns in this game, I feel like that's highly improbable. If you're playing the averages, obviously it's improbable. So that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm keeping my head out of it. I'm keeping my heart out of this. I'm using my head. Give me 50% chance on that. I'm taking Louisville, and then I'm taking that under 46.5. I think both teams are going to try to run the football, and I think both teams are good at defending the run, and therefore I think this one goes under. Utah at Arizona. We got the Utes, and we got the Wildcats. What happens when a Coyote and a Wildcat I don't know. I guess we're gonna find out on Saturday. I tell you what, the Zona Tucson man is they're all in the comment section, and thank you, Arizona fans. Thank you for watching the show, and everybody's been really nice. And but they wanted to tell me that their passing defense is a lot better than what I thought it was, because in our breakdown show, I said that their passing defense was their weakness of their defense. But really, I think that point was kind of moot to begin with. Utah's not throwing the ball all over the field.
Mm-hmm.
That's not happening here. So Zona fans, I wasn't meaning it like Bryson Barnes going to throw all over them. Now Bryson Barnes has played a whole lot better over the last couple of weeks. I mean, we all have to admit,
Yeah.
Utah was horrible at throwing and catching the football for most of the year. Now I would say they're a little bit below average. You know, they've gotten a little bit better, and a lot of these teams have gotten better at something throughout the year, and so it's not impossible for Utah to get better at that as well. But this is a 1-point line. Arizona's at home. I like this team. They're super well-rounded. And as I just said, I don't think Utah is going to be able to take advantage of the one that what I see as a chink in the armor for this Arizona defense. So they're not going to run into the teeth of this Arizona team over and over at a successful rate. How are they going to score points? As long as Arizona and Noah Fafita doesn't go out and turn the ball over 2-3 times, I think they can easily cover this one at home. Give me Arizona Wildcats -1.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I got the same play. I'm going to lock that up with you.
Nice.
I just think, I mean, it's so close to a pick 'em. There's a chance that Arizona has a letdown spot here, but I like what they've been doing. I like Fafita, and I just think that they're a more explosive offense, and they do enough on defense to contain, Bryson Barnes and this Utah attack. So I'm in lockstep with you on that one.
Nice. And again, anybody watching, please hit the subscribe button. We do this every week, and we got multiple shows a week. We'd love to have you. Let's move on to our next matchup. Actually, that's all the big ones, isn't it?
We got Kansas and Kansas State.
Do you got to play on that one?
I do. I've got Kansas State. I think that they're still at -8, but I'm going to take the over in this game.
Okay.
At 56.5, Kansas and Kansas State.
Well, you have the floor. I do not have a pick on this one.
Yeah. So for this one, to me, I think that really I've seen enough out of Kansas's defense to know that they're going to give up some points, right? I could easily see Kansas State getting to about 35 or maybe even more than that. And I think that Kansas, if Jason Bean goes, that's kind of the only thing that gives me any sort of pause in this game is whether or not Jason Bean goes. He's listed as probable. I think he's going to play. They really can't play the freshman. We saw last week what happened. They lost to Texas Tech last week. So I like the over here. I think that it's really just because of the lack of defense. Kansas State's been playing better defense, but Kansas just hasn't really shown me much on defense. So I like that over 56.5, and I'll move it along to my next pick. Starting at the 12 o'clock slate, I've got Colorado at Washington State. Give me the over 62.5. It's a pretty high number. I'm not as comfortable on it today as I was yesterday, but I think that you've got two explosive offenses that are playing two really bad defenses, right? It's a recipe for an over to hit. And we've seen from Dion that he's really trying to pad Shador's stats. So they're going to let him keep going. And no matter what the score is, I think that they're going to let him stay in and throw the ball around. And Cam Ward's got to get something going against this defense. It's kind of his last chance of the year, I think. So give me the over 62.5. What you got next, Mark?
Man, I wrote it down and then crossed it out. Colorado is a 5-point dog in that game, and it's really not even a play on Colorado. It was more a play against Washington State. I mean, why do they deserve to be favored in a game at this point? Both teams have one Pac-12 win, I believe.
The model I'm looking at on collegefootballnerds.com has Colorado favored by about just under 3 points.
Man, that's a big swing.
Yeah. So
All right,
that's
well, go ahead and lock it up. I'll lock it up. Look, Washington State has a non-existent defense, just like Colorado. I love your play. I think that's a good call there. But Colorado has gotten, I guess, demoted Sean Lewis from offensive coordinator to just some kind of analyst role. And ever since they've done that, they've completely stopped trying to run the football. And this game, it actually might work against this defense. I think it's not a bad strategy. Both team is more than happy to sit back and throw this thing 50 times in this game. I don't trust Washington State to get home. The Achilles heel of this Colorado team has been protecting their quarterback. I do expect Washington State to make a couple of plays, but some of these teams that have been beating Colorado have been sacking and hitting the quarterback in the double digits. So I don't trust Washington State to be able to do that in Pullman. Give me Colorado. I had crossed it out, but I feel pretty good about it. I'm gonna keep that one up, and I'm gonna give you another pick here that I got. I like this one pretty good too. Florida at Missouri. Missouri is favored by 11. Missouri can win this thing by 2 touchdowns at least. There is tons of motivation for Missouri. This isn't a team that started the year off saying, well, it's college football playoff or bust. No, give me a break. I mean, they win 5, 6, 7, 8 games a year, 8 on a good year. They're going for 10 wins this year, man. 10 wins, and they got to win these next couple of games to do so, and they're going to get a chance to go to a New Year's Six Bowl. And beyond all that, beyond the motivation factor, Missouri is just a way more physical football team than Florida. I think they're absolutely going to push them around. Florida's not as good away from home as they are at home, not nearly as good. Very few road wins under Billy Napier. I don't know. Can't see why Missouri would be favored by 11. I think the line should be more like 14 or 17 in this game. I think they're that much better of a football team. So give me Missouri minus 11 against those lousy, no good, stinking Florida Gators.
Yep. I thought you were going to go with Florida at first on this one. You started talking, and I was like, I don't know about that. But
a damn cent on Sunbelt Billy. Give me a break.
We missed the LSU bet last week, and I'm not going to let it happen again. I'm locking it up with you at Missouri minus 11. This is Missouri's last chance in front of their home crowd to show them, or for them to experience the best season that they've had in years, right? I think that it's going to be a raucous environment at Como, and I think that Missouri gets out early, scores a lot, and puts Florida on their heels now. They're still fishing for that 6th win, and they'll have to face Florida State. I think it might be a home game for them. I'm not sure, but they'll have to go and face Florida State to try to get that 6th game to go bowling after this week. But give me Missouri to get the win. And wouldn't you love to see them in a New Year's Six bowl against like Penn State?
Oh,
that'd be a good game. Or them in like if Ohio State loses, that'd be really fun.
Absolutely. They're a good football team.
I think them and Penn State would match up really well, though. That defense. But all right, moving on. I've got 4 more plays. I'm going to go ahead and knock out 2 of them in this one game right here. I have got the Oregon and Arizona State game. I've got Oregon at minus 24. I think that they're going to be able to get it done and win big in this game. This is a team that, style points kind of matter for them right now. They've got a 1 loss on their resume. They're looking around and try to see, if Texas gets in with 1 loss, they got to have more, style points than Texas. So I think that they're looking to put an exclamation point on every game that they possibly can. So over Arizona State, I think this should work for them. I don't think Arizona State's going to be able to score 10 points against Oregon. But I also like the over in this play. The over-under set at 55. I really think Oregon's going to have another one of those 50-point games, So give me the over 55 in this game, and I'm just hoping that Arizona State's able to put up enough points to get me over the 55. What you got next, Mark?
Let's jump. I'm gonna try to run through these because these right here are games that we obviously don't want to break down, or we would have already done it this week. So I'm about to get a little bit sick on y'all, okay? But I'm telling you, I like these picks just as good as I like the big game picks. And honestly, if you're betting my slate, I say you divide up however much money you want to bet by the amount of games I got. I think I got 9 picks here, 10 picks, and bet them evenly. And I guarantee you we're going to go over 500 on this list. I'm telling you right now. I can't legally guarantee you, so I didn't actually just say that. But anyway, SMU at Memphis minus 7.5. SMU is favored. Memphis is a horrible defense. SMU is a good football team.
Mm-hmm.
This is just very simple ABC stuff. Memphis is also banged up on top of being a bad defense. SMU means business, dude. This is a football program, and they want everybody to know it. They are on their way and on track to win the AAC. Tons of motivation here. They're on a mission. So give me SMU minus 7.5 at Memphis. What you got?
All right. So my next play, UNC at Clemson. Give me the under 59.5. I think that Clemson does just enough on defense to slow down the Tar Heels. And Clemson, we know they don't score a whole lot, right? So I think this is going to be like a 23 to 27 type game, something like that. I don't think that either team gets in the 30s.
Okay. I like it. Here's another sick ass play for you. Hawaii at Wyoming. Wyoming is favored by 13.5. Hawaii's coming off of that big victory over Air Force last week. The only reason they got that victory is because Air Force somehow turned the ball over 4 times. I mean, I don't even know how in that offense you turn the ball over 4 times.
That's
I don't
2 weeks in a row.
Well, I mean, you have the most conservative approach to offense there is.
Yeah.
Running the ball at that clip, and they turn the ball over 4 times. It's just unbelievable. But Hawaii's coming off of a big win there, and when you live in Hawaii and then you have to go to Wyoming in November, it's a little bit of a culture shock.
Yeah.
Wyoming is very good at home as well, and this is a team that we saw start off really hot. I think 5-1 on the year, played Texas right down to the very end. I mean, and not to mention they have a very physical approach to football. They run the ball hard. Hawaii, it would take a lot of effort and good game planning for Hawaii to be able to keep this within the spread, or much less win this game. But give me Wyoming minus 13.5 at home. I think they can take care of Hawaii pretty easily in that one. What do you got next?
I like that play a lot. I've liked seeing Wyoming all year. They've been a pretty good play all year.
I don't know why they're fun to watch, but they are fun to watch.
They are, and they're consistent. Like, I pretty much know what they're going to do week in and week out, depending on who they're facing. I like betting on teams like that. Like,
that head coach,
not always
like
for
them. Just
them.
came off his cattle ranch.
Yeah,
just got off the tractor.
He loves Wyoming. He does.
He loves the state of Wyoming, dude. Like, he does not want to disrespect the mountains by losing to a volcano school like that. So yeah.
I love betting for teams like that, whether it's really for or against them. I like knowing what I'm getting. You know what I mean? All right, but so my last play, I've got USC minus 6.5 over UCLA. It's a little bit of a gut play for me, if I'm honest. Everything leans towards this being a good game, like a 3-point game. But I feel like Lincoln's going to have something worked up in this game, and I think that USC is tired of being kicked, and I think that they get something going on offense this week against UCLA. And on the flip side, I think that UCLA is kind of in a different type of desperation mode, right? It's a little bit more gloomy, in my opinion. This could be one of the last weeks that we see Chip Kelly. And I think that the locker room might respond to that, and not in a good way. So I think that USC kind of runs away with this one, and we're wondering the future of Chip Kelly at the end of this game.
Yeah. If UCLA could just hand the ball off to Carson Steele, I feel like they could grind it out. But you've been saying that all year about UCLA. Then their offensive performances have just been miserable.
They're gonna. I think that USC is going to get stops, but it's not because USC is getting stops. It's because UCLA just runs out of juice, and I don't know that
UCLA may just throw the damn ball to them.
Or that.
They don't have a quarterback,
Yeah.
and that's not even why Chip Kelly's getting fired. We'll go into that probably next week when he does get fired. So tune in next week to the show, and we'll probably be talking about Chip Kelly being fired. But he's just kind of old school, and they don't want that type of coach out there at UCLA. But then again, UCLA fans, where the hell are you? You don't even go to the games. You're not even on the internet. I have yet to meet one.
No, they don't tune in. They don't
tune into anything. They don't care about football. So I don't know why they would get rid of him anyway. Last play for me. This one is interesting, and I hate that I'll have to watch this. So if you bet this, I'll watch it for you, and I'll tell you about it next week, folks. I'll save you. I'll jump on the grenade for you. Syracuse at Georgia Tech. Syracuse is a 6.5-point dog at Georgia Tech. Both teams are 5-5. Okay, both teams are trying to make a bowl game here. There's going to be plenty of motivation for each side. Georgia Tech is better offensively than Syracuse is, but my goodness, is there a stark difference in defense? Syracuse is 18th in the country at yards per play allowed, and Georgia Tech is 118th at yards per play allowed.
Mm-hmm.
Horrible. Not a good tackling team. I just 6.5 points. Georgia Tech don't deserve to be no 6.5-point favorite over anybody, especially a team that's trying to make a bowl game. And it's a conference game. Both of them won a conference win here. That's way too many points. This one's going to come down to a field goal. So give me Syracuse plus 6.5 in that one.
I like that play a lot. I think that Georgia Tech wins. I've said all season that Georgia Tech wins games if their offense does not get isn't overmatched from a talent perspective. Maybe statistically they're overmatched a little bit, but I don't think that Syracuse is pushing out dudes on defense that are that much better than Georgia Tech's offensive players from a talent perspective. And and if that's the case, they can keep up with just about anybody. So I like the play, but I'm all out of plays. I don't know if you got any more.
No, I don't have no more. I liked Boston College and Pitt. Boston College goes to Pitt, and they're an underdog. Again, it's one of those situations where it's like, okay, since when does Pitt deserve to be favored over anybody? And I've seen glimpses of Boston College this year. The quarterback can run the football. I like that play. I didn't bet it, but that's maybe a line that I would look at. Eric Stockton left us a comment here, and I actually like this play a lot. I didn't even notice this one. Is that correct? 46.5 for that game? That does seem mighty low for Texas and Iowa State.
I'm looking at week 13. Hold on.
Because if that is the number, then I like that, because, I mean, it's kind of like the Georgia-Tennessee game. What's the spread on it, Mason?
Minus 7.5 towards Tech. Now I'm looking at ESPN's odds. I'm not looking
minus
at
-7.5
now,
is correct. I was actually just looking at it. So, and I like Texas to cover the 7.5, but actually, excuse me, I like Iowa State to cover the 7.5 is what I meant to say there at home. 46.5, that is low.
Yeah.
Man, that's a low one. I like that pick a lot, Eric.
Eric
loves overs. Eric finds
does.
the best situations to bet the over. So I would trust Eric here.
Earlier, when I don't know if you listened to Cover 3 earlier today, but Chip had this bet at under like 47.5 or something like that. So this one's moving down, which is interesting. But the thought is that this game's going to be like, right at 47. I think it's like 20-27 might be the way that this game plays out.
Let's look at something real quick. I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know. So what are we missing here? Something's fishy here, you know?
Yeah.
I'm looking at the weather for Ames, Iowa.
I think
this
that what's
weekend.
fishy is that that Texas tends to play down to their opponent, and we don't know what we're going to get out of Texas.
Yeah.
The model I'm
the
looking
the
at
weather's
is
going to be beautiful. It's going to be nicer there than it is in Georgia.
yeah,
So I don't. It's not a weather thing. So
yeah.
play it, Eric. I
The
think that's a
model
good
I'm
play.
looking at has Texas 31.4, Iowa State at 16. So that's 47.5, a clear cover for Texas based off of this. A 15-point cover, but slightly over, half a point, really right at a point over on this one. So
I think a good backdoor cover situation there for the over. If you do cover that over, it's going to be in the fourth quarter.
yeah.
Nice pick, Eric. I'll watch that one intently. I'm just a little scared of Texas right now. That's all.
Well,
I think
and Iowa State's offensive linemen have been talking a lot of trash, and they're not very good going up against Texas's D line. You might see Iowa State get shut down a little bit. So
that's been one of the most consistent groups is the Texas defensive line throughout the year for that team. And for whatever reason, Texas can't finish a game. Second half, they've been sucking. So I don't know what's up with that either. So I'm just they're kind of not in the trust tree with me right now. So we'll sit back and wait and watch. Thank everybody for watching our show. We do appreciate that, and we want it to be your show. So subscribe, come be part of our community. Join us. We do this 3 times a week, 4 times a week, multiple times a week, whatever it is. And we'll have a reaction show on Sundays that you'll be able to watch. A lot of places don't get theirs out till Monday. We're going to get that to you on Sunday so you can watch it over the weekend. We're going to have top 25s revealed every week. We're going to do better on our top 25 this week than we did last week. We got yelled at, and maybe deservingly so. But that's okay. That's what this is. We want some feedback from you guys, and we appreciate all the support that you have given us up to this point. So everybody, get your bets in the windows. Watch whatever lines you need to watch until Saturday, and then good luck this weekend. We will tune back in on Sunday. Thank you so much for watching.
Thanks. Y'all have a good day.